You're like 3 hours ahead, right? I'm 6:30 here.
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So how long have you been doing the whole Uber thing?
I've been doing it since May, and I've been doing Lyft since June.
Oh, so you're doing both, Lyft and Uber.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in a ratio 50-50 or 80-20?
I think it just depends on my needs.
Okay.
I've been doing Lyft more often just because I can get the instant cash out option.
Yes,
Whereas
that's
with Uber, I just have to wait the extra day. So
that's
it
that.
just depends.
You know, that's a big thing that a lot of people actually do the Lyft because they can draw that money out right away. They just pay that little premium. So they have like a big, Lyft has a big advantage there, and they also have another big advantage is that you can get tips, right? I mean, have you ever had good tips through Lyft?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I find that majority of the time that comes from like the morning commute, not so much afternoon or evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
And what car do you drive?
I have a 2012 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So your gas is not too bad, right?
No, not too bad.
Okay, awesome. So the one thing is I too also drive in Lyft and Uber. My ratio is about 90% Uber and 10% Lyft. And then I sort of found several other ways how to monetize Uber. So I'm looking at it like more on a national level. I'm setting up different fleets and that, different car fleets with car dealerships and with other people. So, but I did start off with UberX, and I've pretty much done every category, and I've also driven in several cities. So I get a lot of good questions, and if I don't quite get to answer a questions, I usually speak to my other drivers and I get back to the people. But what I say to everyone is, one of my big tips is like, if you know your city, which city do you drive in? Atlanta, okay. So if you look at all the event venues, right, all your concert venues, all your sports venues, where they play baseball, basketball, football, rock concerts, music concerts, anything like that, all of those venues have websites and they have a calendar. And I make a Monday to Monday plan in LA. I know what's going on every night. And usually I find that these events end at 10:30 p.m. at night. So I get all my guys to a venue at about just before 10, get a good location, get settled in, and then all of them consistently hit the surge, okay? So because you have thousands of people coming out at the same time, and I prefer big venues where there's big surges, right? So sometimes those surges are the equivalent of 5 or 6 trips. So that in my experience has been an amazing time slot, the 9 to 11 p.m. time slot. Obviously Friday nights and Saturday nights, those are money nights. The 6:30 in the morning till the 9 morning shift is a money morning, because a lot of airport trips. The evening after work, there's another surge of people going back from business. That's another thing. But the other thing I could recommend is if you have business cards with your face, with your pretty face and your car on the back on it, so the people, when you hand it to them, they know, oh yes, that's so and so, right? I remember her. Okay. And what I always tell my people, and I'm not promoting the short trips, I'm always promoting the long trips. I said, if you need to go to the airport, or if you have a longer trip, just give me a day's notice. I'll be there. I'll pick you up, and then you can when I'm there, you hit the Uber request and I immediately accept it because we're both in the same location. Okay? But don't start the trip before I'm there. Start it when you're in the car. So they nominate, they put in their destination, they put in the address where they want the car to come to. Guess what? The car's already there. They put in the destination and then they hit request, I hit accept, and off we go. So I'm promoting these longer trips. Now I have about 55 to 60 repeat clients that just call me for that reason, long trips to the airport, wherever they need to go, right? And it works. It really, really works. And the reason why I get the call is they're like, oh, I got your business card. I remembered you. I remember what you looked like. Yeah, because they got the picture of my card. Hang on. Did you ever see my business card?
Yeah, in one of your videos on how to market on I can't remember the title of the video, but I did see it.
Right. So that's just branding. You're branding yourself. And then and one thing I share with everyone is do you know what eucalyptus oil is?
Yes, I'm into essential oils.
Oh, you are? Okay, so guess what? My number one, my number one, I almost said it, my number one essential oil, which they use in the spas, is eucalyptus, right? So
Right.
as I arrive at the destination, 1 minute before I'm at the destination, that, you know, they can see this dude is 1 minute away, right? I put 2 or 3 drops, only 3 drops on the vents, and I blast the vents so the whole car smells like a spa. Every woman that gets in my car or man says, oh my God, this car smells like a spa. It's heavenly. You know, I then also explain to them that eucalyptus is good for the lungs, good for the bronchia, good for a lot of things, oxygenating the cells, oxygenating the brain. So they feel like, wow, this guy's like really taking care of me. And I am. It's not bullshit. You know, you're doing something good for them, right? It's not this synthetic crap scent like pine or false lemon or anything like it. It's the real deal, right? And in the first minute, I also ask them, I say, by the way, if your phone needs charging, you know, I have this and this charger, iPhone and that. I'll gladly charge it for you so that your phone is at least charged by the time you get to your destination. And I have an auxiliary cord if you want to play your own music, if you want to be your own DJ, I've got it right here. Oh no, it's okay. Choose your own station, or choose a station. Or you know what, I prefer the radio off. Okay, cool. And then finally I say to them, if you want the temperature up or down, or if you want the air conditioning on higher, I'll gladly do that. So within 3 or 4 questions, we've established that I care about them, right? I then back off. And then I can see, are they on their phone, on their laptop, are they busy, are they having a conversation with someone else? And you know, you naturally get into a conversation if a conversation is meant to be. You've been in that scenario many times, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And generally I find that my ratings go up. I mean, I'm very high rated, and my tips are great. It's hard to get tips in UberX. It's very easy to get tips in Uber Lyft. I'm pushing the community that Uber introduces a tip platform. So hopefully down the line, the tip platform comes, putting a lot of pressure on Uber collectively with a lot of drivers worldwide. And then the other thing I can tell you is that the money is not only made by hands on the wheel, not just about driving. Set up your social media, make YouTube videos for your city so that you become like an ambassador of your city. Talk about like the hot spots in your city. Most of my referrals, guess where I get them? I get them in Los Angeles because I'm based in Los Angeles and I make a ton of videos, you know. I share with them, this is a great spot, you know, this is where you'll make money, this is how you handle the airport. And people sign up, a lot of people sign up through my referral link on LA or for LA, and I make a lot of additional money like that. So I highly encourage you to explore that or look into that, or, you know, if you have questions, ask me by all means. Are there like any particular questions that you have, or like challenges that come up?
The only thing that kind of made me a little cautious.
Okay.
When you were talking about, excuse me, when you were talking about basically building up a clientele, and then you know, going to pick up a person that wants to on a regular basis, you know, ride with you. I was actually using Instant Fee with Uber, and for whatever reason, they wouldn't allow me to use it anymore.
Which one?
And
Sorry.
Come to find out, apparently it was because I was going, because I also do Uber Eats. I do Uber Eats primarily.
Yes.
Over Uber rides. So they gave me the explanation of, okay, well, you know, you were going to the same Mexican restaurant too many times. But if I get a request to go there, I'm going to go there.
Right.
You know, if I'm driving in the same area,
Right.
then you're going to get the same restaurants over and over. So that kind of made me a little cautious with picking up the same person from the same location. Like,
Okay.
I didn't want anything to happen with my account.
Okay. And, you know, if I could give you an answer to that, my best guidance would be the following. Is if there is an Uber station, like in Los Angeles, there's one in Westwood, right? And you go down to the station and you explain why you are a little apprehensive, you know, or why Uber has told you not to promote one specific location, but you know, that's really what the customer wants, and you're just trying to fulfill the customer's needs, right? The fact is, he wants that burrito from that Mexican restaurant, and you know, and ask them, you know, how should I handle that? I mean, you're making money at the end of the day, and I'm fulfilling the customer's needs. Is there anything you, Uber, could tell me how I can handle this differently? You know, because as far as I'm concerned, number one, satisfy the customer. B, automatically when you do that, Uber's making money. They should not, you know, they should not come with this policy. Well, you have to stay away from that Chinese restaurant because you're just selling it too much. I mean, that to me just sounds ridiculous. But if you go in there and you actually make that a concern and you address that with management or with Uber there directly, you know, they put a note down that they actually put a note down. That's the good thing, is that, hey, you're just concerned, you want some guidance, right? So help me. What do I do? And let them give you some feedback on that, right? Not me. I don't work for Uber. I mean, I have my cars that drive for Uber, but I'm not in management. I am not Uber, so I wouldn't want to answer that. But you know, as far as I see the business, it's really, you know, supplying the customer exactly what he or she wants. That's just the way I see it. And then keeping them so happy that they give you a 5-star rating and give you a fantastic tip after bringing that burrito. You know, that's my policy in business. But
right, I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be violating any terms and conditions that either Uber or Lyft has, because I did actually recently have somebody that wants me to take them, you know, to and from on a need-to-know or on-demand basis type of thing. So I just wanted to make sure that they had already kind of been through that.
Yeah, well, you don't recruit them through Uber to create private clients. That's like a big no-no. But you know, if they are putting the request through Uber and they're not, and you are, and you're not circumventing Uber, you know, they are still making the money. And my argument is that you're not doing anything wrong. But, you know, the best is to go down and speak to Uber and find out directly, you know, like, you know, I agree. I mean, you know, it's like you got to find where's the fine line, you know.
Right.
That's a good question. Cool. And anything else that like sticks out? Are you doing?
Pretty much it. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I mean, how many hours are you putting in per week?
Let me see. I'm gonna say on average 5 to 6 hours a day.
Oh, okay, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm not as disciplined as I could be.
Okay.
With it to really make it clear how lucrative it could be. I mean, I know if you do it right, it's really like a.
Well, you're doing it more like because you have some extra time and it's flexible hours. You can switch on, you can switch off, and you mean you prefer driving food instead of like real people. I mean, you prefer Uber Eats.
I actually like conversing with people or talking to people. I just find that with Uber Eats I get paid more.
Oh, you're just making more money. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But then, you know, the interesting thing is they're testing right now in Denver and in Detroit with companies. They're actually want to catch up with Amazon. So it's not just going to only be food, but it's going to be flowers, roses, deliveries, groceries, and that's all coming in the next year. So I mean, if if you enjoy and you see making on, like they call it, the on-demand economy, you know, a person demands something and then there's the demand and the supply. The guy drives, the Uber driver drives the food or whatever it is to the customer. Hey, if you're making more money that way, you know, by all means, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Gosh, I wouldn't know how else I can help you unless there's something specific that you know, that you can think of. The bigger picture is, if you upgrade the car, drive in a bigger category. If you ever consider driving like a big SUV or the luxury division, there's a lot of money to be made there. I mean, the earnings, it's like day and night, you know, because UberX, you make a lot of trips with a lot of small amounts. I really can show people, I can show you how to really maximize your earnings and not do too many trips, but really know how to work SUV. So for example, in LA, there are areas right outside of Los Angeles, very, very wealthy areas. And I just go there and I get these long trips into the airport, to the town. And these are, you know, these are $100 to $160 trips, right? And
Wow.
and I'm driving. Many of my clients are all the who is who, you know what I mean? And on top of that, giving them a good service, making sure that they or their kids arrive safely, I get fantastic tips, right? So last night I drove this couple to LA. I was picking up this couple at LAX. They're the repeat clients, and there was this shootout at LAX as I was there. Okay, so they ran and hid under a bridge. They got out the airport. Everyone was panicking. I was stuck in the traffic there, couldn't go anywhere. And I was talking to them, reassuring them that I am going to come and get them and take them out, right? So the trip was 160 when I finally got them, because we were on the phone, kept them calm. I picked them up. I drove them all the way out to their destination, you know, was $160 trip, and they gave me another $140 tip. It was $300, right? Just because I stayed with that person. And I'm not saying, hey, this is not a typical Uber. This is like a freak accident, right? Wrong place, wrong time, right?
Right, yeah.
So it can happen, and I've had one or two other scenarios like that. So nothing is perfect. You know, I would guess that the Uber Eats is a bit more safer because the guy's hungry, he wants a meal, and you bring it to the house. I would guess it's more safe. Sometimes driving people around, you know, I've had 5 incidences that were really not cool. 5 out of about 3,000 incidents. They were not fun. They were just not fun. But again, you know, it's not a typical thing, you know, and it is a very safe business at the end of the day.
Right, yeah. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty cool.
But I like that. I like, you know, I'm gonna make more videos. I'm gonna look more into the Uber Eats thing. You know, because I think if you make more videos, you promote the service more people use it, more people make money, you make more money, everybody makes more money. So, but look, you have that referral code, you know, make money with that referral code. You probably have so much knowledge in Uber Eats, way more than I would ever have, right? In Uber Eats, and so why not become like a specialist and refer people, say, hey, this is a great job. This is what I make. This is how you do it. And then you just start referring people that drive Uber Eats in your city or neighboring cities. You make really, really good money on referrals. You know, $500 for a Los Angeles referral, $1,000 for a New York referral, $1,000 for a San Francisco referral, $750 for a Sacramento referral, and so on and so on and so on. There is such a competition between Lyft and Uber on the referrals that they are paying top dollars. I would tap into that if I was you, and ask me questions if you need more knowledge. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because when you got a voice, you got a pretty face, there's no excuse for you not to make a cool video. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I actually excuse me, I am going to start a YouTube channel.
love it. Do it.
Because I follow you, and I heard you mention Jermaine Ellis, who I've been following.
Yes, lovely
for
guy.
quite a while now.
Yeah, I love his videos. They're always funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, all those guys that are doing video channels, I take my hat off to them. You know, they're all trying their very best, and we all discussing our ideas, but we have one thing in common, is that every now and again we get a great referral out of this because we're putting the energy. So to see a lady, to see a female in the mix of all those guys, I think you would do so well. And especially if you think of every single angle that you could make a video about Uber Eats, okay? Every single angle that you could make on your city and become an ambassador for your city. Put your referral code out there. Look at just grab my text underneath my video, right? There's a text, right? It says, it's got the hyperlink. So you put the HTTP to your referral page, correct? So that they land right on your page and then that you get rewarded for that. And then the rest is just all Uber language. Cut and paste that, replace it with your link, put your keywords in, right? Because there's a thing called tags. You have to comma separate your tags. Put the maximum amount of keywords, about 20 keywords per video, right? And then find a good description, and that's it, and upload it into that channel. And I will promise you, I will do a shout out. You'll get your subscribers, will support you, and you will see they will come to your video. And I think you have a big advantage. They really need more girls or females making videos on Uber, because people think it's a male-dominated industry. I think you would do so well. It's just like people promoting cosmetic channels, generally women, right? You hardly ever see males promote cosmetics. I think you would do extremely well figuring out what type of videos to make.
Awesome, yeah.
Cool.
I didn't think of it that way, so thanks for telling me that.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, hey, if anything, if just something came out of this conversation, then I'm happy.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
For sure.
And reach out to me. I have to head back to LA now. But reach out to me if you have some more questions, and if I can help anywhere, if you're like, hey, how do I do this with social media, or what should I do? Just shoot me a text or an email. Generally always get back to the people within 48 hours.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a good evening. Bye. Bye.
Be safe. Good night.
Bye. So I just ended that conversation with an amazing lady called Monica Johnson. And I got to say, she had fantastic ideas. I mean, she had really good questions, and it looks like she's focusing on Uber Eats. Now, I haven't made many videos about Uber Eats because, you know what? I'm not going to report on something that I don't know. And the honest truth is, I have never, ever made a delivery in Uber Eats. It's got to appeal to you, do I want to go to an Italian or a Mexican restaurant and pick up a meal and drive it there? She could be right. She could be making way more money and way more tips. I totally take my hat off to her. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my piece of cake. Okay. So I don't feel comfortable jumping in and making videos about this. I really encourage Monica to start her channel and talking about it. And I think she actually just left me a message. Yeah, just said thank you very much for the phone call. So you're welcome, Monica. And any way we can support her. And when we see her channel, ladies and gentlemen, when we see Monica's channel, let's all jump in, subscribe to her, support her, encourage her so she makes good money. Okay. So here's to you, Monica, and Uber Eats, and to your future YouTube channel. I salute you.